Seamaster!
Hi everyone, Sneemaster here with a brief beginner tutorial for anyone interested in starting out in Star Citizen. So I'm assuming you heard about Star Citizen and you want to jump into it. I'll try to help you out here with this tutorial and a background of the game. First off, you have to understand some basics on the game. One, and most importantly, it's not finished yet. It's still being built, so there are many features that are not yet in the game, and there are many bugs. It could be years before the game is finished, so if you don't like unfinished games or buggy ones, you may want to wait. Second, you won't find Star Citizen on Steam or Epic or any consoles. Cloud Imperium Games makes Star Citizen and has its own website and launcher for everything. It's only designed for PC. There is the multiplayer Star Citizen and the single-player Squadron 42 games. They are separate games using the same game engine and are bought separately. With Squadron 42, since it's mostly about storyline, we don't know much about it. CIG has kept it under wraps so no one spoils the game. Third, the game does require some decent PC hardware. You have to run the game on a solid-state drive, also known as an SSD. You cannot run the game on a regular hard drive or you will hate it. Don't even try it, or textures and objects will be too slow to load in properly. If you don't have an SSD, then wait to play until you get it. Next, the game takes up 45 to 80 gigabytes of space, so make sure you have that much free space. Also, you need to have a minimum of 16 gigabytes of RAM to run the game decently, but preferably 32. You also need to have your virtual memory set up on your SSD to be safe. That'll prevent stuttering issues or other slowdowns. For a CPU, surprisingly, the game will run with even old CPUs up to a point, but the faster CPUs will reduce choppiness a bit. In the future, that could change. For a graphics card, a safe minimum would be a GeForce 1060 or an AMD RX 580. But anything better than that will work fine. The newer the card, the faster your frame rate will get though. If you have larger monitors, you might want to get like a GeForce 2070 or above, or the equivalent in AMD. So, if you're okay with all that, then first you'll need to register an account. So go to robertspaceindustries.com/enlist and set up your account name, email, password, etc. Now at this point you can choose to enter someone's referral code if you have one. It'll give you 5,000 extra starting in-game credits and helps the referrer as well. Then click Enlist. Later, when you get a chance, make sure your two-factor authorization is turned on for security purposes. I believe it defaults to email security. Next, you will need to select a package to be able to actually play the game. If the site doesn't take you to the packages page directly, then you can click the Play Now button. You will see 2 packages on the main package screen, but there are more packages and prices if you click Pledge Store. A package will include the base game of Star Citizen, a ship, some starting money, a starting hangar, and some ship insurance. Don't worry about the insurance for now, you won't need it until the game goes live. When the game does go live, ship insurance simply gives you an option to get your ship back for free if it gets destroyed. Of course, otherwise you'll have to pay in-game money to buy it back. You can add Squadron 42 to your package for another $20. There are various packages and you may want to research them first before you buy. I have a ton of videos on ships if you want to find out more on what each one does. A safe bet is an Aurora MR starter pack or Mustang Alpha starter pack for $45. They are both ships that can carry a little cargo and can fight if needed. The Aurora has a bed in it, which you can log out of, and some internal cabin space. The Mustang Alpha is a little quicker and more maneuverable, so it's a better fighter, but has no bed. Other good ships are the Origin 100i or the Avenger Titan. Both have beds, some internal storage, and good weapons, but are a bit more expensive. Once you decide on a ship package, then click Add to Cart, and then click the Checkout button that pops up in the top right. CIG might offer you some paints for your ship. If you don't want them, just click the X button on them to remove them. Then finish paying for the package. At that point, you'll get the option to download the launcher. Go ahead and install it on your SSD. Once it installs the main launcher, then in the launcher, set the library folder to point to your chosen game location, if it's not already set. Finally, click the big Install button and the game will download. Once it's done, the install button will change to a launch game button. You will get some pop-up info from CIG reminding you that the game is still in development. Just click Acknowledge. You might also get a pop-up requesting to use your camera if you have one. I would normally set this to yes or OK, and then you can turn it off in-game later. The camera can be used to follow your head movements to look around in the game and transmit your facial expressions to other players if you wanted to. You'll get a window saying Initialization or Loading, then a slightly larger window, and then you'll get to the main menu. The menu has a background image. On the top left are 3 buttons. The Persistent Universe is the main multiplayer world. Star Marine is the first-person shooter minigame with matchmaking to play against others. It's good for practicing on-foot combat. Arena Commander is a space-based arena system. You can play single-player in practice rounds or play against others in multiplayer. Arena Commander has various game modes like racing, free flight, duels, squadron battles, or swarm modes. We're just going to focus on the persistent universe for now. Down below is an options button and a quit game button. Click options to adjust your graphics and sound settings. I recommend right now to set your quality to high or very high. Setting it to low or medium will actually rely on more CPU usage, which is not optimized right now. Turn off motion blur, and you can adjust planet volumetric clouds to medium or high as needed. You can turn them off if you have an older video card. These settings are the optimal ones for this system right now. Also, set your resolution as needed. Just remember, higher resolution will run a little bit slower into the game. On the Comms tab, you can turn on or off your microphone and your camera as needed. Click OK once you're done with the settings. After this, click Persistent Universe. From here, you'll need to choose a starting city and your appearance. For the appearance, you can choose your gender, and then you can blend your facial features from a mix of various preset faces. You can choose specific features such as cheeks, nose, eyes, etc., and mix them from those other faces by moving the blend bar. Click Accept once you've set your face the way you like it. You can always change your appearance later on. There are 4 starting cities right now. Area 18 is a more cyberpunk-looking city. Lorville is more of a dystopian city. New Babbage is a futuristic city on a frozen world. And Orison is literally a floating city on a gas giant. Each city has benefits and drawbacks. For example, Lorville has many ships to sell. Area 18 has lots of guns and weapons. Orison is amazing to look at but takes a long time to get out of the atmosphere. And New Babbage is located on a great planet for exploration. Don't worry, you can still fly to these other planets once you get in the game. Once you choose your starting city, then click Enter Star Citizen Universe. At this point, you'll start loading into the city. After loading, you will appear on a bed in a habitation room in your chosen city. Star Citizen defaults to a first-person view. You will have a basic undersuit and helmet on. Turning the mouse moves your view. You can press Y to get out of bed. You use the regular WASD keys to move around. Scrolling the mouse wheel controls how fast you walk, and from a slow walk up to a quick jog. Holding Shift while walking will make you run. Spacebar jumps and control crouches. The X key makes you go prone. Just remember, you can also change all these keys. These are just the default keys. Holding F and left-clicking will highlight and activate things in your vicinity. For example, toggling light switches or opening doors. You can press F4 to go to third-person view. Holding the Z key while moving the mouse in third person will look around. Pressing F4 again to go to a third-person view. F4 one more time reverts back to first-person view. While in the third-person view and holding down F4, you can scroll up and down to the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. You can also hold F4 and the page up and page down keys to sort of look in and out or move the actual camera forward and backwards. Press the I key on foot to open the inventory. You'll see the local area inventory on the right. In this case, while you are in your home city, you'll see all of your inventory that you own. As you go to other locations, the local inventory may have different gear that you buy or find in those locations. You don't automatically bring them all with you. While in the inventory view, you drag and drop items to or from your body where circles show up, or you can right-click on them and select Equip, or just double-click on them to put them on automatically. The inventory screen can be filtered and sorted. Click on the Filters button and then click on Custom. From there, you can click checkboxes to show or hide particular items from the inventory screen. You also have local, ship, and armor inventories, so be careful what tab you're on when you're moving items. You can wear either clothing or undersuits. Undersuits with helmets protect your character from the vacuum of space and extremes of temperatures. You can also wear pieces of armor on top of your undersuit to add additional protection, storage, or other features. Armor applies to the chest, arms, and legs, plus your helmet. There are also backpacks of various sizes you can wear that provide extra storage. You can only wear backpacks that are equal or smaller than the chest armor you are wearing. So, for example, you can have a medium backpack with medium or heavy armor, and you can have a heavy backpack only with heavy armor. Weapons and utility items can be placed on your character as well as ammo, grenades, light sticks, and other things. You can also place attachments on your weapons using the same system. Another item your character has is the Mobi Glass. It's a wrist-mounted holographic display that provides various info, or you can access in-game features from it. The main page shows how much money you have, the gases in the local atmosphere, how much oxygen you have in your undersuit, even your crime stat. Just a reminder, if you commit crimes, you can get a crime stat of levels 1 to 5. The higher the levels, the more people will try to attack you. Mostly bounty hunters and space stations and guards and things like that, so be careful. If you are killed or arrested by bounty hunters or guards, then you will actually go to prison. In the Mobi Glass, there are other pages that give you access to communications, ship configs, the star map, the knickknack tool, contract tool, and other features. I won't cover all of them, just a few basic ones. The contract tool is useful as it allows you to select new missions from mission givers or view your existing missions. You can even share missions with friends. Each mission will show how many credits you'll get and who is giving the mission. Be very careful when reading the descriptions, as some mission givers are not exactly lawful, or some missions might be harder than you can handle. Some missions might require certain equipment or certain type of ships. You can have more than one mission accepted and can choose to change which mission is the selected one. Let's choose a basic cargo mission to safely make some initial money. This mission will require you to pick up a cargo box from one location and drop it off in another. Now, Star Citizen has a ton of elevators in the game. There are no loading screens, but to get around in buildings or space stations, you'll need to use the elevators. Some elevators even move sideways or backwards. From the habitation area, use the elevator to get to the ground floor. From there, you can explore the cities or stations. There are weapon shops, equipment shops, restaurants, and other places to shop at. One thing to watch for are your liquid and food levels. You can die if they get to 0. You can buy drinks and food at shops to restore your levels or find them in loot containers. Don't forget to take off your helmet when drinking and eating. You can either buy the food or drink from the shops or grab it from your backpack or armor storage. When using it from your inventory, you can just right-click and choose Eat or Drink. When you do a quick buy from a shop, it will already place it in your hand, so you can left-click to use the food or drink. As long as your helmet is off, then you should eat the food or take a sip of your drink. To drink the whole container, hold down the left click while the drink is in your hand until the drink container is empty. The other thing to know about is your health. You can get injured in combat or jumping off high places. To repair yourself, you can get a medical gun at any pharmacy or clinic and use it to heal others or yourself. Just equip the gun, press the 4 key to pull it out, and then fire. If you're using it on yourself, then press the B key to aim it at yourself first and then fire. You have to be very close, about 20 meters or less. It has ammo, so you'll eventually have to buy more ammo for it at those pharmacies. You can also buy med pens, which are one-time use devices, and they work the same as the medical gun. Just watch out for bleeding wounds. They will constantly drop your health until you die, unless you heal up right away with a med gun or med pen, or you get to a medical bed. If you get a more serious wound, it won't go away with just a medical gun, such as head or limb trauma. They will give you a permanent effect unless you heal them, such as blurry vision or preventing you from walking or holding things. In those cases, you need to find a medical bed to heal up. Med guns won't work. You can go to hospitals or clinics at cities or space stations and request a room. From there, go to the room and use the medical bed. You can also use medical beds in spaceships like the Cutlass Red or Carrot. Regular injuries and even low food and liquid levels are healed automatically just by laying in the bed. For serious injuries, use the computer screen above you in the bed and choose what parts you want healed. Serious wounds go from level 3 to level 1, with 3 being the mildest injury. The more serious the wound, the higher quality medical bed you need. For example, you can only heal tier 3 wounds in a Cutlass Red, but you can heal all wounds at hospitals or clinics. Don't forget, you can buy ships, gear, armor, and weapons at shops. You can also rent ships at rental kiosks. Ship rentals go from 1-day rentals to 30-day rentals, with a price depending on the ship. You can buy ships and vehicles both in-game for credits or on the website with real money. For buying a ship in-game, just go to a ship shop and either use a terminal or click on the ship itself and choose Buy. All equipment and ships you buy in-game will stay with you until the next account wipe. That CIG does occasionally for new patches. Sometimes they might wipe accounts once a year, sometimes more or less. Patch 3.17.2 will have a wipe to it, so all gear, ships, and money will be reset to your default. Buying a ship from the website does not get wiped at patches, but it requires real money. To buy a ship permanently from the website, go to robertspaceindustriescom and click on the Pledge Store. From here, since you already have a package ship, you can just buy standalone ships for a cheaper price. Click on Ships and then you can filter the list by the ship you want. Click on View Specs on the ship you choose. Click View Buying Options and then click Add to Cart. From there you can buy the ship. Keep an eye out for ship sales throughout the year. You can also upgrade your ship with what's called a CCU by going to the ship upgrade page on the website. This only applies to ships you own in your hangar on the website. You can also buy commodities in-game such as metals or medical supplies from cargo outposts on moons and sell them at the Trade and Development Division locations in cities for profits. New ships range from all sizes, from small one-man ships to large multi-crew vessels. Some are specialized ships, such as mining or combat ships, and some can do multiple functions like fight, carry cargo, or other things. The price varies accordingly to size and function. Some have tons of guns and shields, others are more civilian-focused, and have very little defense. You will need to determine the gameplay you prefer and choose the ship that works best for that. Don't be afraid to buy multiple ships if you want for various features. There are also ground vehicles that you can load into some ships and use for various purposes, such as combat, exploration, or driving to places where spacecraft can't go. Now the most important thing is to get to your spaceship. To do that, you'll need to get to the spaceport. Every city has a public transit system that will take you to a spaceport, so you can use that to get there. Once at the spaceport, walk through the customs areas and find the fleet manager terminals, which are typically yellow. You can select your ship and click the retrieve button to spawn it in the hangar or pad. You'll have to find a hangar elevator and take it to the right location. If the ship is in a vacuum, you'll have to make sure you're wearing your undersuit and helmet. Some hangars are vertical and some are horizontal. To get in your ship, there are either doors or ramps, or elevators. With ramps, you can simply open them and walk up them. Some have buttons to open them, and others you just hover the cursor over the ramp and click open. For doors and cockpits, you should click the Enter Ship command, and it'll automatically open the door and climb up any ladders. Once inside the ship, you'll need to turn on the ship. The default key to turn on all the power is R, or you can manually look for the Flight Ready button. That'll turn on power, shields, engines, and weapons at the same time. Pressing U will turn everything off. Once power is on, you will need to request air traffic control to open the hangar doors, if you're in a hangar. To do this, you can either communicate using one of the ship multifunction displays, or you can pull up the communication panel on your Mobi-class. In the communication panel, go to the Friends tab and then look for the ATC for the landing port you're at. Click on the radio symbol and it'll contact them. Wait for the contact window to close and the hangar doors will open slowly. Wait for them to open all the way before you leave, or you might clip the sides. To lift off, press the space bar gently, but make sure not to hit the sides or the ceiling. Pressing the control key will lower the ship. The WASD keys will move the ship horizontally forward and back, and strafe left and right. Q and E will roll the ship. You can control the maximum speed of the ship by moving the mouse wheel. There is a cruise control feature by pressing the C key that'll set the ship speed to the max speed you have selected with the mouse wheel, without you having to hold down the W key. Don't forget to raise or lower your landing gear with the N key. Once you get out of the atmosphere and into space, between 8,000 to 12,000 meters, then you can turn on the quantum drive by tapping the B key. It'll display markers on your HUD for all the areas you can quantum travel to. Space stations are square icons, cities are pentagon-shaped icons, everything else is generally a diamond icon. Quantum travel is a method to travel up to 20% of the speed of light. You can either travel to them using the HUD, or you can use the star map to target them. Pressing F2 will pop up the star map. You can rotate the star map by moving the mouse with the left button held down and pan around the map while holding down the right mouse button. You can zoom in or out with the mouse wheel. The round symbol in the top right will zoom in to the local planetary area. You can select a target with the left click and then click the Set Route button to set your route. It will show how much fuel you will use and how long it'll take in seconds on the left side of the star map. If the target is on the other side of a moon or planet, then you might not be able to lock onto the target. To get around that, you can manually quantum to an OM point, and that should allow you to get line of sight of the target, so you can use the star map. All moons and planets have OM points around them, which are virtual locations you can travel to. They make navigating around planets easier. So we're going to the first target of the cargo mission by selecting the moon in the star map and setting a route. Then we close the star map, aim at the target, and hold down the B key. That will start quantum travel to the location. Once you get to the moon, you'll need to find the target on the surface and quantum travel to it. In this case, you can target it manually from the HUD and hold down B again. This will pop you up into the atmosphere about 20 kilometers from the target. You can turn off the quantum drive here and just fly to the target. Cruise control is good for these long-range flights. Feel free to speed up as needed, but make sure to slow down within 3 kilometers or you might hit the ground. Slow down as you get close, turn off cruise control, activate the landing gear, and slowly coast to the target. Get to a complete stop where you want to land, and press Control gently to land. Once landed, hold down Y to get out of the seat. It's recommended to turn off the engines in places with bad weather, otherwise the ship might fly away with a big gust of wind. So you can press I to turn on and off the engines. Get out of the ship and walk to the building where the marker is showing. These planetary habs have airlocks, so just click the airlock button to open the doors. Then cycle the air inside and open the inner door. walk around and find the box to pick up. It can sometimes take a little while to find your way around in the habs, but go ahead, walk around, take a look. You'll eventually find it. There is a marker for the box you need to pick up. Hold down F again and click grab to pick it up. You will walk slower carrying a box. Walk back to your ship. Once you get inside, look at the box and hold F and place or drop. Placing it will allow you to gently put the box down. Dropping it will just drop it right at your feet. After that, just get in the pilot seat and fly to the next location, like we did here. While we're flying, let's talk about combat. You can fire weapons with the main trigger button, which is normally the left mouse button, if you're in weapon fire mode. Although some ships have secondary weapons, which you can right-click for. You can change to missiles and back with the middle mouse button. With missiles selected, you can press G to choose how many missiles to fire at once. Left-click to fire missiles selected. You also have shields that charge up. You can see their status in your MFDs. The shields on one side go down, then weapon fire can damage your ship on that spot, so always watch your shields. You also have decoys and noise. Decoys work like flares to distract missiles, but work with both infrared and electromagnetic missiles. They fire off to a distance to make missiles chase them instead of your ship. You might have to use a few of them at a time if the enemy has a good lock on you. Noise is like chaff that will temporarily pop out like a cloud around your ship for a few seconds. Noise is used to make missiles and other ships have a harder time locking on your ship. Both items will be very noticeable on radars, so you won't be able to sneak up on enemies with them active. You can target red targets on the radar, which are normally enemies, with the 5 key, and friendly targets with the 6 key. You can rearm your weapons, reload missiles, refuel, and repair at landing pads and hangars. On landing pads and hangars, you will need to request permission to land, but in future patches, you might only need permission for hangars. Landing pads may not require it. So use the MFD or communication system on your mobi-glass to request landing once you see the red text, typically within 6 kilometers or less. You'll see a little round symbol with an arrow in it. That'll be your landing location. Watch out that hangar doors are open if you're landing on a hangar. Remember to fly in gently and lower your landing gear with N. And if your ship has VTOL engines, you can press the K key to use them on planets. They will help your ship stay in the air better on planets with heavier gravity. They might make you go slower forward, but vertically they will work better. If you need help landing, once you get close to the landing location, you can hold down N to perform an auto land.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Once you land, open the mobi-glass with F1 and look for the maintenance screen. Then you can simply click on the items you want to resupply or repair and close the mobi-glass. You will get a notice indicating not to take off while reloading. Once it's done, you can either take off then, or if you plan on staying at the location for a while, make sure to store your ship so it doesn't get impounded. If your ship is destroyed, you can claim your ship and the game will get you a replacement one without cost at these terminals, including any gear it had. You just might have to wait a while, depending on the size of the ship. You can speed up the replacement by paying money if you're in a hurry. Okay, back to our mission. Here we've landed at the target location and picked up the box. As we get close to the building, something weird happens. Suddenly, we can't open the doors or pick up things. This is one of the many dreaded bugs that happens sometimes, called a 30K bug for the error message you get. If you get issues like that, check with the general chat in-game using F12 key, or press F11 and go to the chat screen. They can tell you if there's a server issue. If so, you can either wait for the server to die or you can log off. If it's a 30K bug, it's best to close the game and launcher and restart. You will normally reload with all your gear and your ship at the main city you were last at, or at your starting city. Other bugs are more temporary, and you can either ignore them or just log off and on. As I said before, Star Citizen still has a lot of bugs while it's being developed. Now, if you didn't get the bug, all you need to do is enter the outpost building with a package and drop it off at a Kovalex shipping box. There is a button that says drop off that will open a door. Simply aim at the hole while carrying the box, press F and click place. That'll drop off the package. After a few seconds, you'll complete that part of the mission and hopefully get your money. Combat missions will generally involve you either destroying some enemy ships or hunting down some enemies on foot and taking them out. There are also missions where you have to search a wreckage or a cave for bodies or certain cargo. On top of that, there are also illegal missions that might get you in trouble with the law. As you complete missions, you'll gain reputation, which will slowly unlock more valuable missions that'll pay more, but also be more difficult. You can also loot bodies for their armor and weapons by holding down F while looking at them and clicking the loot button. You can also invite people to join your party or even make them friends by going to the comm screen with F11 and right-clicking the name of the person. Choose Invite to Party or Add to Friends on that person you've selected, and they will join you. Once you have people in your party, they will see an indicator to show where they are, and they can even quantum travel to your location easily. Party members can share missions, which also shares the mission money, plus you can combine quantum jumps so you all jump at the same time to the same place. That's useful if you want to protect another ship or do a surprise attack altogether. Another benefit is that party members can have their own personal voice chat channel. Okay, so now we finished the mission. Once you're done for the day, make sure to land at a space station or city. Don't forget to store your ship. Once you've done all that, then it's safe to exit the game. You can also log out in any ship with a bed, but there are some bugs with that, so I recommend skipping that until the bugs are worked out in future patches. There are so many more things to talk about with Star Citizen, but this video could go on for hours if I did. I hope this is enough to get you started with the game and give you an idea of what it's like. Make sure to ask the global chat in-game for questions, or go to the Star Citizen guide for more help. There is also the Spectrum chat on the website or the Star Citizen subreddit. Both are great sources if you have questions. Alright, so that's it for the beginner tutorial. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're interested in jumping into Star Citizen, go ahead and use my referral code to get an extra 5,000 in-game credits to spend on anything you like. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click the like and subscribe buttons to get more videos. Let me know if you want me to review a particular ship or item. Check out my Patreon if you'd like to help me out. Okay, catch you all next time.